Hello, how are you? Nice to check in with you again today. I hope you're well. Welcome to the weekly musings. This week I have consulted the cards to seek a little bit of advice about how we can slow down to speed up. And I know that sounds really insane and counterintuitive, but actually, we kind of need to know how to do this. We need to know how to be present, be mindful, and how to actually juggle all the balls that are being currently thrown at us. Or at least that's how I feel at the moment. Life is increasingly busy. It just feels like there's more and more and more stuff getting thrown my direction. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. In fact, I know I'm not the only one. Knocking things down all around me here. I've spoken to many people, quite a few clients, some friends, family, and the theme seems to be the same. Life seems to be getting faster and faster and faster. So how do we continue to juggle all the things that we have to do? How do we continue to negotiate life and to keep on top of all the responsibilities and the roles and the duties that we have, but at the same time have a life, same time look after ourselves and keep our personal self-care in tip-top condition, and also still manage to do the things that we need to do. So that was kind of where I was coming from when I was shuffling the cards today. And I'm sure it's a question you've asked yourself at some point. You know, cosmic energy is really intense just now. There are so many people spiritually waking up, people having 5D awareness where they realize they're a soul in a human body, and they realize there's so much more to life than just this physical existence. I've had a few people with spontaneous heart openings, people who are just really starting to understand the nature of energy and how that fits into their life. And it can be really difficult. I saw someone had put, I'm finding it really difficult to human right now with all this going on. And I thought that's just exactly perfect. That's the exact phrase. You know, how do we continue to be human and navigate through our physical world and our physical reality with all this cosmic energy, all the spirituality and everything that people are waking up to also still playing a vital role? Because our bodies can get really tired. Energetically, our energy bodies are working, our souls are working, but our physical bodies have to catch up, and we can be really tired and really run down. And that in turn then makes us feel even worse and makes it even more difficult to juggle the multitude of balls that are being thrown at you. So in true fashion, when I feel a little bit stressed out, or I feel that I need some advice and I need to know how to slow down and reconnect, I use Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. And the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms deck is by Colette Baron Reid. And there's lovely, lovely artwork on it by various different artists. And it's a deck that I will come to quite often. And if you follow the musings, you'll know that I use it quite frequently. So, as I said, part of this is really to try and get some advice, but it's also to get an understanding of what's happening and why it's happening. And for me, it feels like more and more stuff is being added to my list of things that I have to do. And the things that I want to do are getting pushed further and further and further down the list. And then you nearly feel guilty for, if you have time, you nearly feel guilty for doing the things you want to do because you think you should be doing something else. Does that sound familiar? It's something that I fight with quite a bit because I have various different things going on, as I'm sure you're aware. But sometimes I find myself feeling really guilty if I actually want to take some time out, or if I want to, go and paint, or I want to, sit and read a book, it's like your brain starts to shout at you and say you should be doing something else. So this is kind of the backdrop for what's going on with this card reading today. So the first card that's come up is the Lady of the Lightning. Lady of Lightning. And this card, it depicts a woman with lightning coming out of her hands and her feet and all around her, above water, with a night sky behind her for those who are listening on the pod rather than watching the video. And this card's all about, surprises, shocks, paradigm shifts, life changing. So imminent change is upon us, and I think a blind man on a galloping horse can see that change is upon us. You can feel it in the air. You can feel that things are changing. Things aren't the same as they used to be. We are shifting into a new way of being. Now, there's been lots of talk over the last several decades about shifting into a new astrological age. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. These things don't happen just like that. They take decades, sometimes hundreds of years to happen. So we're in this period of flux and change between astrological eras, moving into this new wave of energy and this new energy period. And in order to let that happen, chaos has to happen first, because the old has to break down to make way for the new. And that's kind of what's happening at the moment. And the lightning card, this Lady of Lightning, also reminds us that there will be maybe some really sharp changes that come in really quick. And it's okay to relish them. It's okay to welcome them in, because we need those changes and those, sometimes maybe a shock to the system in order to wake us up and jolt us out of a rut or to push us forward with our life. Okay, so fair enough. We know the change is coming. We know it's all kind of going on around us, and we know we might need a jolt. But, how do we hang in there when it's all going mad around us, when it's like, chaos everywhere you look? It's just fast, it's noisy. You feel like you're accelerating until you maybe will be the lightning yourself, going, into an explosion. How does that feel? How do we unpick that? Well, for me, the way I unpick it is by finding a moment of silence. When you think about lightning builds and builds and builds, and then discharges, and then it's quiet, and then it builds and builds and builds, and then it discharges energy, and then it's quiet. It's not constantly discharging the flashes of lightning. There's a pause, and then a recharge, and then a flash, and then a pause, and a recharge, and a flash. And I think that the card's trying to say to us, well, why don't we do something similar ourselves? Why don't we pause, recharge the batteries, burst of energy, and then pause, recharge the energy, burst of energy and action, and work alongside the energy. For me, I need to carve out some silence in my day. It's so noisy. Life is so noisy. There's always notifications pinging on your phone. There's always somebody, wanting to speak to you. There's somebody interrupting you. There's someone coming to your door. There's someone coming to your desk. There's someone needing something from you. Plus you've got your own brain telling you all the things that you need to do. So it's really important that you carve out some time for solitude and quiet. And if I don't do that, I really struggle. And it can feel really counterintuitive to stop and do this for a few minutes, but I promise it's worth it. So find some quiet time. So this morning, I knew I had quite a lot on my plate today, and I thought I still need to take 5 minutes, and I'm going to take it now while the house is quiet. So for me, early mornings tend to be best, either before anyone gets up, which isn't usually the best, to be honest, for me, because I'm not up either. But if I am actually up and awake, it's something I'm trying to work towards, to find that little quiet period in the morning. But today I managed to find it. Teenager still asleep upstairs, partner away to work, house was quiet. I hadn't started my working day at that point. I had 5 minutes, and it was lovely just to sit, Focus on your breath and gradually allow yourself to detach from all the roles and responsibilities and things that demand your attention, just so that you can simply be. It allows you time to tune into your soul. It allows you time to find you. All the thoughts initially might come rushing in, but honestly, if you sit for a moment or two, they will pass and you start to find that clarity in that headspace. It's like hitting the reset button, and it's only up to 5 minutes, but it makes such a difference to the rest of your day. And you can access that silence and that breath anywhere. You can simply just stop what you're doing and focus on your breath. And it really does bring you back to that moment of stillness and pause. So give it a try. The second card that came out today was the Gaias Garden. So this depicts an image of, an elemental being or Mother Nature perhaps, full of greenery in a green dress with lots of foliage and leaves and things like that, and pumpkins and all sorts. It's all about the fruition and abundance and reaping what you sow. So we can see again a theme here of what you put in, you get back out. So for example, with the silence thing, if you put in the effort to get 5 minutes of silence and quiet time in your day, you will reap the benefit of having more clarity. Here again, we reap what we sow. So what energy are you putting into your day? Are you putting in stress, and are you saying, I'm stressed, I'm busy, I'm too tired, I haven't got time? And then it's all coming back, because what we put out comes back threefold. So are you taking responsibility and measuring what you're putting out into the world so that you get it back in a positive way? Nature doesn't hurry. Everything happens in its own sweet time, just as it's meant to. And we need to take a leaf out of that book. We need to stop trying to force things. We need to stop trying to control how everything's going to pan out. We need to simply trust the process and do our best to go with the flow, working in the seasons and the cycles. That's why I find it so important to follow the likes of Elizabeth Peru with her tip-off for the cosmic energy, because then you can work with the cosmic energy. You know what's coming up. You know which planets are going to influence your day. You know how the energy of the universe is going to be impacting you, and you can plan your day accordingly. It's very, very worthwhile. We're part of nature, not separate from it. So everything that happens on our planet and in the solar system and our universe happens to us because we're all part of the same thing. We're all part of the same source energy. So this card also reminds us that everything happens in seasons and cycles. So this period of chaos and busyness is a season. It will pass. It won't be like this forever. It might be like this for a while, but it won't be like it forever. Trust the process. Go with the flow. The other advice when it comes to a nature card like this is to get out into nature, to reconnect that way, recharge through being in a natural space. If you can get your bare feet on the ground and recharge your energy that way. Ground your energy, because when life gets fast, everything gets really busy and we forget to slow down and ground ourselves. Taking a few minutes to breathe. We don't always have to be switched on. We don't always have to be doing. It's really important to remember to just simply be. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are human beings, not human doings. Last card that's come up, the Ringmaster of Scrutiny. Love the imagery on this card. It depicts a man with long flowing silver grey locks and a big long beard, lighting a candle in his lovely office, which has got books everywhere. It's a very grand sort of Lord of the Rings-esque style vibe. Lots of books in his library type thing with little fairies and other little creatures and magnifying glasses and books and everything all sitting across the table. It's a lovely card. But this card's about discernment. It's about paying attention to the details. Having a clear vision. Whenever you get busy and life's running on hyper speed drive, fast, what happens? Your brain gets muddled, brain fog, confused thinking. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what you're doing. You've got so many tasks on your plate, you're not sure which one's next. Yeah? I know this all too well. Honestly, these last couple of weeks, that has been me. I have double booked myself. I booked myself a workshop and an ambulance shift on the same day. And I was consciously aware that these things were actually on the same date. I could see logically they were on the same date, but I just didn't put two and two together and realise that actually I double booked myself until just late last week. You know, I've forgotten to do simple tasks. And I know all this sometimes comes with age too. You know, I am a woman of a certain age. However, I'd forgotten simple tasks. I was a week ahead of myself with my diary. So I was busy thinking I had stuff to do this weekend that actually is the following weekend. I even had a little minor bump in the ambulance a couple of weeks ago because I was just so brain muddled and had so much on my plate that I wasn't thinking clearly. So this card is about that. This card is about slowing down, taking time to scrutinize the details of your life and what you're doing. Because when you're going too fast, when you're acting really quickly, you're not often doing the job correctly. You're not sometimes taking care. And as a result, it causes you to have to go back and do it again, or it adds stress. You know, it's just very difficult. So this card asks us to scrutinize the details of our life. Create a clear vision for what it is you're doing and trying to achieve, what it is you want. And then pay attention and be mindful. Reminds us to take one day at a time. One day at a time, to be present. So are you present now? Check in with your breathing. Is it shallow or deep? Fast or slow? How are you sitting? Standing? How's your posture? Scan through your body. Where are you holding your tension? Are you thinking about these words? Or are you thinking about something else? Are you thinking what you're going to do when I finish talking? It is challenging to slow down when we're busy. We think we won't get things done. We think that, you know, if we slow down, we're skiving, we're taking time off. It's like I said earlier, it's like you nearly fight with yourself to take some time. But I promise you, by taking measured, thoughtful action and being present, and paying attention to detail, you actually get more done. And I've worked with business owners, and I've worked with other people on this concept of slowing down to speed up. Taking time to actually block out time in your diary to focus on one thing. Because every time you get distracted and jump between different things, so let's take work, for example. If you're sitting in an office space and you're focusing on one thing, and then you've got 5 or 6 tabs open on your computer and you're flicking between them, it takes 10 minutes for your brain to go back to where you were when you get interrupted and when you switch tasks. So every time you switch a task, you lose 10 minutes. So what about if you don't switch tasks and you just focus on the thing you're doing? Then you don't have those 10 minutes missing for every time you get distracted. So that's how you lose time in your day. And that's sometimes why then you feel you can't get things done, despite the fact you're juggling 100 things and you think you're doing them all at once. So single tasking, not multitasking, slow down to speed up. So hopefully this message has spoken to you in some shape or fashion. I know it's spoken to me. The cards are telling us that we are in a period of imminent change and shocks to the system and paradigm shifts and, life evolving and changing rapidly. But remember, we reap what we sow. The energy we put out into the world is what comes back to us. The vision that we hold for ourselves is what comes back. We shape our own reality. Be discerning, pay attention. Slow down to speed up. Be present. Breathe. Give yourself time to sit in silence every day. And yes, life's in flux and chaos, but it will pass. So hold on to the clear vision of what it is you want out of life. Give yourself permission to do one small thing every day towards that dream. And I'll see you again next week.